for joining Part of It podcast. I see that most have really enjoyed this topic of evil within American society. And this topic today will be America has been is harboring evil within its borders and being done on a grand scale through mass incarceration of criminals. And when I say criminals, I mean murderers, rapists, pedophiles, serial killers, and all the alike, meaning men and women and even children as such, and continue to harbor evil, continue to allow evil men and women to live while the victims' families will never see their loved ones again. The serial killers can have visitors, can have letters sent to them, can have 3 meals a day, health care, and every other amenity known to the outside world within the justice system. The justice system is so sick, so twisted, that any man and woman that even works within that community has to be just as sick as the criminals which they are incarcerating. Because anybody with any sense, any brain, understands that victims' families should not have to hear life in prison for somebody who is murdered, raped, or destroyed a life to the degree that they will never know real life, even unto death. And we have a sick and twisted officials in the highest places, judges, lawyers, all these types of individuals that are allowing the harboring of evil men and women across this country that you and me as taxpayers pay to have these men and women fed, have free health care, but we can't even feed our poor. We can't hardly even put our poor in a stable living facility, or our homeless in a stable living facility, but our criminals who are raping and killing, and I mean over and over, every time they get out, they will be raping and killing another individual, stealing the lives of many U.S. citizens that are innocent in the degree of just trying to live a normal, happy life. And we have senseless killers out here doing senseless acts of murder and getting life in prison. It makes no sense. It is a bigger criminal act to give life to a murderer than the murder itself. And for anybody out here who understands justice, understands that the justice system has totally failed the American people by harboring such evil within the walls and confines of these prisons. Prison should be a place where men and women that have only committed minor offenses are rehabilitated, given some type of degree throughout their time there, so that they can become productive individuals, hopefully, in the future. And that is not what is going on. We have turned the criminal justice system into an industry of evil, corruption and being used as a political weapon against political opponents. It is totally corrupt and evil to the core. Now, why do I say to the core? Because just as my other podcasts, if you listen to them, the people have become rotten. We are living in a rotten, sick, twisted society. Our society is so off the charts of how demented and evil it truly is, that even the people that go to church, the people that live these lives, are really no longer innocent to the fact that they know that their government is corrupt, but they do nothing. That's how corrupt and evil and rotten to the core that we have gotten, to where righteous men just continue to allow and perpetuate the evilness that is continuing in our communities, throughout our nation, throughout the states, throughout the whole entire governmental system. But today, like I said, our topic is the harboring of evil, and that is what is happening. We are harboring evil. We are allowing evil people to sell drugs to our kids, harboring them within our communities, knowing that they are doing these things, but nobody is saying nothing. And here we are wondering why so much evil, so much corruption, and so much criminality happens within our communities. Because the people, the men and women within these communities have no longer care about the safety of their citizens, no longer care about the safety of each other, no longer care about the safety that should be provided by the governments within these communities. The local police, the state police, the judges, the lawyers, all the way to the prisons themselves. Prisons, like I said, are being used to harbor the evil and then just create more and more evil. We have stabbings, we have murders going on, we have men and women being raped in the prisons. How is this transforming an already making an individual that's already been a murderer or a rapist, how is that making anybody better when they continue to do the same crimes within the jails and the prisons? It is no longer funny to say that if you go to prison, well, I hope you enjoy it there because you're going to be raped. That is it's not funny. It shouldn't be happening. These murders in these prisons shouldn't be happening. People just coming up missing and dead in prison shouldn't be happening. But see, this is the evilness that our society is perpetuating. And it's creating such a fierce evil that we can no longer tolerate, no longer allow these types of crimes to be committed. And if we continue to allow criminals to run our criminal justice system, then that is what you're just going to get. Criminals in our justice system shouldn't be mentored by criminals. They shouldn't be taught by criminals. We shouldn't be allowing people that do not have the integrity to do the right thing in these prisons. These individuals that work within these prisons, like I say, are just as evil and corrupt and criminal as the ones that are in the prisons themselves for crimes against whoever. But the main thing is, why are we allowing murderers, rapists, and all these other people to continue to just get life in prison, like I say, with the family members never being able to see their loved ones again, never will be able to write a letter to them, never will be able to pick up the phone and call them. But we allow murderers, rapists, and all these sick individuals to have a place to stay while homeless are dying on the street, while single mothers with children are being killed on the streets, being subjected to sex workers, being propelled into sex rings, prostitution rings, and all these other things. But no, we want everyone to live a certain way of life, but we do not want really that to happen, because if we wanted that to happen, we would be killing these people, we would be putting people to death, and we would be making our society stronger, but we continue to make it weaker because we continue to allow evil to continue its evil plans, its evil acts, its evil practices within our society. And we're not doing anything about it. And nobody's talking about putting anybody to death because everybody is a criminal within our justice system. They're criminals. They know that they will possibly see themselves behind bars one day because they commit crimes against people. They murder people. They kill people. They have people killed. They pay for people to be killed. They are doing just as many acts of crime as criminals across the whole entire continent. The people are turning a blind eye to what is going on within our criminal justice system, and it is sick, twisted, and it doesn't make any sense. And we are only causing greater and greater harm to our society through allowing murderers and rapists to not be put to death. How many times do I have to say this? Death is the way we should be going about these things, and we're not. We continue to allow the sickest individuals in our society to live out the rest of their days in a prison cell, teaching their criminalities to other criminals that are going to get out and continue their murdering rampage once they do. We are in a downfall society, a downfall. And it's us that are claimed to be righteous through Christ Jesus that are not doing our duty and our due diligence to make sure that justice is served. Justice has to be served. And we are not allowing the justice to be served. We are putting off the justice. We are throwing the justice into the arms of prisons. And it's not fair to the society that lives around these prison walls. And we should not be allowing this to continue to happen. Yes, it has happened for the last 50 or 60 years. And it has done nothing but bring rot and decay into American society. Rot and decay. And, everybody keeps talking about how, drugs and drug dealers and all this stuff. You know, drug addicts are drug addicts. I understand. Drug dealers are serial killers, okay? Drug dealers are serial killers. What they're doing to a community, selling hundreds of people in that community drugs that they will soon overdose and die on, is a serial killer. And why these people are being tried is just trafficking. No, they're doing more than trafficking. They are committing what is called a serial killer. They are giving drugs out to a community, probably killing more people than most serial killers will kill in their whole lifetime. But no, we say they're okay people. We live with these people within our communities. What is wrong with you? Are you an idiot? Are you dumb as hell? I mean, do you not understand why your community has went to hell? Because you've allowed a serial killer in your community. You've allowed serial killers to continue their drug selling in your communities. They're destroying your community, and you just continue to allow drug dealers to continue to deal their drugs and harbor the evil in your community. People, get a grip. Get a grip on a weapon and do what you have to do to save your community. Get a weapon, get whatever you have to get your place correct. Because if your police aren't doing it, if they're not calling the National Guard in when these people want to come riot and destroy your city and burn it to the ground, you have to make a stand. America has always been a fight or die nation. You know, at the OK Corral, what did they do? They fought the enemy. They won. Yes, some died. But guess what? The men that died, the men that lived, was able to tell their stories. Was able to say how great they were and what they done to save their communities. You know, and that's the thing is, like, you have to go back almost 150 years to maybe even 200 years in this America that we have before you can actually see people actually doing what America was made to do. We are made to fight. We are made to be strong. We are made to make our community strong. We are made not to lie down with criminals within our communities while they perpetuate their evil upon our children, upon adults, and make us fearful. We should not be fearing this evil. We should be fighting it, killing it, and destroying it from our communities, whatever it may be. But we're not. We're saying, oh, live and let live. You know what that means? That means you have lost what it means to live. What it means to live is when you are being a person that is carrying the load for your community. Living is carrying the load for your family, your friend, and your community. Carrying the load. And you know what? If you're not going to carry the load, then just get out of the way and let somebody else carry it. Because guess what, people? This society, it has to correct itself. And it's not correcting itself by putting killers and murderers back out on the street or living in a prison cell where they can teach other prisoners that are going to get out into society and continue their criminal escapades. I'm sorry. Y'all have all... It seems like, I hate to say it, if anybody's in the criminal justice system and they hear this, please know, I hate to say it, but y'all are totally bonkers. You're totally don't even understand what you're doing to your own societies, to allowing these people to continue to be, just continue their criminality back out on the streets. And if you're in the criminal justice system and you can't see that a drug dealer is a serial killer, then obviously you're on the wrong side of the law, buddy. You don't see things as they really are. You don't see things like they really are. And you're not in reality of what is actually happening with what is happening within communities across this nation, of how many people have died of opiates that were sold to them. This should be, like I said, a serial killing ring. You know, this isn't a drug dealing ring. This is a serial killer ring. And the evil there is so prevalent that how can you deny how bad the evil is within most communities, especially when you go to the inner cities and see how destructive and evil they've become. Where a lady can't even walk down the street without worrying about, is she going to be attacked? Is she going to be shoved in a truck or a van and held at gunpoint and raped multiple times and thrown in a ditch somewhere? I mean, this is the things that go through our society's mind that shouldn't be going through their mind. You should be putting people to death for crimes of murder, rape, and anything else that causes such shame to the victims. But no, we continue to show love to the murderers. We continue to show love towards the murderers' families by allowing them to talk to their murderer, go and write a letter to their murderer son or daughter. I mean, what is this? You are sick. The people in this criminal justice system is so sick and so unnerving of how sick it is that we keep on talking about a president that's demented and totally in disregard of America. No, the criminal justice system is in total disregard of the criminal justice system. And I hate to say it, but even the people in the National Guard, even y'all are sick and twisted that y'all would allow people to go into these cities and burn them to the ground and just stand idly by and watch it. You're all sick. You're not leaders. You're not nothing but yes, ma'am, and yes, sir, people. That's all you are. You're not thinkers. You can't think for yourself. You can't do for yourself. You can't do for your community because you're in your own little world of what is my career going to get me. Well, guess what? It might not get you nothing because you might get what the rest of your community is getting. Murdered, raped, or thrown in a ditch somewhere. I'm sorry, people, but the time of being nice is over. I've been living in this for a long time now, and I think a lot of other people have been living in this sorriness that we're seeing multiplied daily by the stupidity of those officials that we've given this great power, the great communities that a lot of great men and women have come out of, have sunk into such sorriness, such corruption, such degradation that I don't understand how people don't get it, that they can no longer fight this. You will never win this through legality. You will never win this through talking to them. because they're not listening anyways. They're not listening to the American people. They're not listening within the school systems. They're not listening in the justice systems. They're not listening in the presidential system. They're not listening, people. They're not listening. They're not hearing you. They don't want to talk to you. They want to continue their evil escapades. They want to continue their evil sexual desires. They want to continue their evil prevalence in your communities. They want to continue scaring you and making you fear them by continuing to allow the crime rates to explode around you, so that you think that there's nothing you can do about it. Believe me, people, there's plenty you can do. But it takes gunpowder and lead to do it. It takes gunpowder and lead sometimes to make people understand you. It takes gunpowder and lead to make people understand that you are serious about what you're saying and that they better be listening. These people are narcissistic. They don't listen to no one. They think they know it all. They think they got all their I's dotted, all their T's crossed, and they don't need to listen to you. They went to a university. They're smarter than you. They're better than you. They have a better way than you do. But they don't. They don't have a better way. They're dumb as hell. They're dumb as hell, people. The people that we're sending to college, we're sending to all these universities, they're dumb. They don't know nothing. They only know what has been taught to them. They don't understand real justice. They don't understand real crime and what it does to communities. And even if they do know, they're not doing anything about it because, see, they're in the industry. They need crime. Crime has become an industry in the U.S. It pays people's bills. It pays people's bills. It gives people power. It makes people wealthy. You know, they don't care about straightening up a community. They care about tearing it down. Tear the communities to hell. Tear your cities to hell. That's what they want to do. Because then it becomes more and more of an industry. And they get more and more wealthy as they tear and burn your cities down. While they give life to prisoners, guess what? They're getting a kickback for it. They're getting a kickback for every lifer they put in prison. They're not upholding law and order in this country. They are tearing down law and order. They don't want law and order. They want chaos. They want destruction. They want your cities burning. They want your children raped, destroyed. They want them destroyed before they ever become anything. They want them destroyed in second grade. They want them destroyed in third grade. They want them destroyed when they go to college if they haven't already been destroyed. They want everything burning. They want everything that we have created and built to be destroyed. To create an industry, an empire of criminals. They want an empire of criminals within this country. They want an empire of destruction in this country. They want an empire of the most evil, destructive people within your government, within your communities, within your civilization. They want to destroy. I don't know what else I can say to get it through to you of how bad these people want to kill you, destroy you, and throw you in a gutter. Yes, they smile at you. Yes, They answer your phone calls, but they're not listening. They're not listening. I will tell you a story. When I was growing up, I had a relative that was pretty much raped, and the parents went to the police, and the police just blew it all off like it was nothing. And it was nothing to them. They didn't care. They didn't care that, that happened. And it went on throughout their life, and it perpetuated that individual to have many, many problems later on. And see, it was all drawn from that first moment that they showed no interest in what had happened to her at that moment. And see, that's the way it's been happening. See, most women in this society now have nowhere to turn when it comes to sexual criminals, sexual crime, because we're treating rapists like kings. We're allowing rapists to go on rape, serial rapists, raping millions of women. And when I say raping, you can rape a woman even in prostitution, even in these sex workers are being raped and their lives being destroyed. But, what I'm trying to get at is that's what they wanted to happen. That's what they've wanted to continue to happen. That's why they've kept allowing rapists. They keep allowing murderers. They keep allowing drug dealers. They keep allowing pedophiles back onto the streets to destroy more and more lives, more and more lives, more and more lives, more and more lives to create an industry of criminals. And guess what? Judges. I mean, look at judges, how much they get paid. $250,000, $350,000 a year. I mean, we're paying these people astronomical pricing to make judgments of life and make judgments that are going to continue to destroy our communities. Why are we paying these people this much? They're idiots. They're destroying our communities, and we're paying them $350,000 a year to do it. We're paying lawyers in our communities to let criminals off, to get criminals off and get them back out in communities to destroy the community, and we're paying them how much? What are we doing, people? We've turned into idiots. We are the idiots out here giving all this money to continue to destroy our communities and harbor the evil that's there. It's time to get up off your ass. It's time to start yelling at your community leaders. It's time to start pressing your community leaders. It is time to start pressing your governments within your states, within your Congress, within your whatever. You've got to start pressing. Got to start making them listen, because they're not listening. And time is of the essence, people. Our world, which is here in the U.S. or wherever, is being destroyed by these evil criminals that we call our justice systems. When it says system around it, just put evil in front of it. That's all it is. Evil system they've created to destroy your communities. And if you want it to continue, then don't do anything. Don't start yelling at your teachers. I'm telling you, people, you better start yelling at your teachers. You better start yelling at the school board meetings. You better start yelling. You better start throwing your hands up. you better start getting ready. Because guess what, people? They've been ready. They're already 10 steps ahead of you. They're already 15 steps ahead of you. And if you're still listening right now, they're almost 200 steps in front of you. They already got their plan. What is going to be yours? I thank you again. Thank you for this podcast. Please continue to listen and have a great day.